Close your eyes and hear this as though it were truth, because it is. You do not need to hustle. You do not need to plead. You do not need to repeat your desire like a beggar in a temple. Say it once. And if you say it with power, with knowing, with the weight of authority behind your voice, it is done. $12 million is mine. It is already mine. The world is a mirror, not a creator. It reflects what you are. And the moment you say it once, not as a wish, but as a decree, you have shifted your identity. You have spoken from the mountaintop of your own being. The seed is planted. It is finished. You may ask, why 3 days? Because 3 days is the pattern of death and resurrection. The first day you speak it, and the old self dies. The second day, the world still looks the same, but the seed is working. The third day, the truth rises. The evidence begins to unfold. But don't make the mistake of watching the pot boil. Farmer does not dig up his seed to check if it's growing. He trusts the process. He walks in faith. He gives thanks for the unseen harvest. This is how it works. You step into the end, not halfway, not hesitantly, fully. You assume the wealth. You speak the wealth. You feel the wealth. And you live as though it's already. The word is seed. Say it. And let it be true, because it is $12 million. Zero belongs to me. You feel resistance. Then you're trying too hard. The truth is effortless. There is no force in truth. It simply is so. Relax. Walk through your day as though everything you desire is already assigned to your name. Don't contradict it. Don't cancel it with doubt. Say it once and never again, unless you're praising it. Your words are not mere sounds. They are commands. You are the one with the power to create simply by saying, let there be. And there was. In 3 days or less, the world will catch up. You don't have to move mountains. Your only task is to speak from the state of fulfillment. You are not here to chase money. You are here to recognize that it already exists for you. Say it now. $12 million is mine. Say it with finality. Say it with fire. Say it once. And let the unseen forces go to work. They obey your conviction, not your desperation. In 3 days or less it begins, because your world responds. What you assume with conviction, even just once, begins to harden into fact immediately. This is not a metaphor, nor is it a poetic exaggeration. It is the law by which all things come into being. Your assumption, quiet inner conviction that something is true, sets creation into motion, and the moment you assume it with feeling, the invisible wheels begin to turn. Everything that exists in your life today, whether you love it or hate it, is the result of some prior assumption you once held as true. You may not remember when you assumed it. You may not have said it out loud, but deep within you accepted it. You allowed it to take residence in your imagination. And so it came forth. The world is not reacting to your words or actions as much as it is. Assumption is the birthplace of reality, responding to the state you dwell in. The assumptions you refuse to let go of. When you assume something with conviction, you are not asking life to deliver it. You are declaring that it already is. The assumption itself becomes a statement of being. There is no need to justify it or explain how it will happen. That is not your job. Your only role is to dwell in the feeling of the assumption, fulfilled, to persist in that knowing. The law does the rest. You may think change requires repetition, years of effort, constant mental struggle. But it does not. The truth is change happens in an instant, the very moment you fully assume a new state of being. That assumption, if made with full acceptance, requires no further reinforcement. It is done. It begins to draw to itself all things necessary for its expression. The world reorganizes silently without your interference. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the cause. Always the cause. What you assume about yourself, others, and the world becomes the lens through which you experience life. If you assume people ignore you, they do. If you assume money is scarce, it becomes your reality. But if you assume you are wealthy, loved, respected, without begging, without waiting, it must begin to show itself. That is the power of assumption. Do not confuse hoping with assuming. Hope is rooted in lack, in the idea that something is still missing. Assumption is the opposite. It is the claim that I already am. You do not hope for what you already have. You simply accept it. And from that place of inner certainty, the world reflects your belief, even if everything around you screams the opposite. Even if your senses deny, your assumption persists. Your senses only show what you previously assumed. They are not indicators of truth. Truth is found in your imagination. An imagination, when embraced with certainty, overrides the facts of the world. This is why a single assumption, one bold, unwavering inner decree, can change everything. You don't need 10 affirmations a day. You don't need to convince others. Say it once, feel it deeply, and refuse to contradict. Time is an illusion. Creation is instant. That is how you bring the unseen into form. Assumption is the birthplace of reality, because assumption is faith clothed in feeling, and what you feel to be true within yourself. Life is compelled to express. The word is seed. It does not need to be shouted, repeated, or scattered endlessly. It needs only to be planted with faith the moment you speak. If you speak from the depth of belief, creation has already begun, just as a farmer places a seed into the soil and walks away with confidence, knowing that nature will do its work. So too must you speak your word, and let it be. The power is not in how often you speak it, but in how fully you believe it. When you do, the true act of creation begins not with repetition, but with acceptance. One sentence spoken from the inner place of certainty carries more power than 1,000 uttered in doubt. When you declare something as true and release it without anxiety, you give life permission to take form. Most people continue to repeat their desires, not because they're affirming them, but because they don't believe them. They are pleading, hoping, begging, and that is not creation. That is delay. That is the state of lack, and lack cannot produce abundance. When you say it is mine, but deep down you feel that it is not, then the word has no root. It falls on dry ground. But when you speak from the end, from fulfillment, from already having, then you've planted it in fertile soil. You must trust the silence after the word. You must become like the one who plants the seed and does not dig it up to see if it is growing. Faith is demonstrated in stillness, in your refusal to chase or question. To say it once and let it be is to act from the authority of a creator, not the desperation of one in need. There is no striving in true manifestation, only knowing. The word is a bridge from the unseen to the seen. The moment you speak with belief, it travels into the unseen and begins its silent, unseen work. You won't always know how, you won't always see the process, but the process is real, invisible. Threads are weaving, circumstances are shifting, people are moving, doors are aligning. All 3 days. The spiritual gestation period, in response to the single word you spoke in faith. Creation does not respond to effort, it responds to assumption. When you say I am, you define yourself to the universe, and the universe mirrors your definition. It's not a matter of repeating it until it works, it's a matter of believing it. When you say it, you don't need to convince anyone, not even yourself. After the fact, all that matters is the feeling behind the word at the moment of expression. Think of a king. He gives his command once, he does not repeat it. He does not question whether his authority is enough. He speaks, and it is done. That same energy must fill your words. That is how the seed takes root, not through struggle, but through sovereignty. Say it once, and let it be. Speak your word, then step into the day as though it were already real, because in truth, it is the moment you speak with belief the seed is sown and creation begins. The rest is just the unfolding. Time is an illusion. It gives the appearance of delay, of waiting, of things unfolding in sequence. But in the realm of true creation, there is no waiting. There is no process stretched over hours or days. Creation is instant. The moment you accept a new reality within yourself, it exists full-formed, complete, and ready. The only delay you ever experience is the delay in your awareness, your acceptance, your willingness to receive what has already been made. We live under the illusion that life takes time to change, but change happens in the blink of an eye. The moment you shift your perception, the moment you assume something new about yourself, the world begins to reflect it. The outer world bends to the inner conviction. But if you are still wavering, still questioning, still checking clock, then you are not yet ready. It's not that the manifestation is slow, it's that you're hesitating at the door of belief. Creation doesn't wait for circumstances to line up. Circumstances line up the instant you embody the change. The world around you is only a reflection of the world within you. When you believe something is yours now, you no longer look for it. You live as though it's already here. That inner shift is the only thing needed for the outer shift to occur. You might say, but I don't see it yet. That's because your eyes are trained on don't try to get it, accept that it's yours. The past your senses report to you. What you previously believed, they cannot show you what's new until you've stopped worshipping what's old. When you continue to react to the absence of your desire, you reinforce that absence. But the moment you turn your attention inward and accept, truly accept, that your desire is already yours, the illusion of time begins to dissolve. Understand this, the version of you who has what you want already exists, not in some far-off future, not in some uncertain distance, but now, right now. That version of you is alive in imagination. It is real. The only thing separating you from it is your loyalty to who you used to be. Let go of that. Release the need to wait, to measure, to evaluate. You are not preparing for creation, you are stepping into it. Think of electricity. When you flip the switch, the light turns on. You don't stand there asking when it will happen. The circuit, it is complete the moment the switch is activated. So it is with your inner world. When you flip the switch of belief, when you say this is mine now, the current of life responds instantly. You may not see the result the next minute, but that doesn't mean it's not working. The manifestation has already occurred. It is simply moving into visibility. Let this truth settle into you. You are not waiting on life. Life is waiting on you, waiting on your certainty, waiting on your alignment, waiting on you to stop living in the illusion of time and step into the eternal, now where all things are already done. Creation is not becoming, it is being. Say it, feel it, know it, and then walk as the one who already has. The rest will follow, not because time passed, but because you finally became ready. 3 days, not for the world to rearrange itself, but for your awareness to settle, to align, to fuse completely with the state of the wish fulfilled. This is not superstition, nor is it a rigid law of nature. It is a spiritual pattern, a rhythm that echoes through all of creation. It is the time it takes for a seed spoken in faith, root in consciousness, and rise to visibility, not because reality is slow to respond, but because your inner being often takes that long to stabilize. When you speak your word with belief, creation begins instantly, but like planting a seed in soil, there is a moment of darkness, of silence before sprout breaks the surface. That silence is not emptiness, it is movement beyond your speak, with authority, not begging, not pleading. Perception. In those 3 days, your old state begins to dissolve, and the new state starts to take root. The first day is the planting, the word spoken. The second day, the burial, the testing, the temptation to doubt. And the third day is the resurrection, the rising of your assumption into form. You may feel nothing at first. The senses may scream that nothing has changed. But those 3 days are not about what the senses say. They are about where you dwell in consciousness. The shift happens inside. It's not that the desire is arriving. It's that your awareness is acclimating to the fact that it's already here. Many abandon their assumptions too soon. They speak a powerful truth one day, and by the next, they are digging it up with fear, with worry, with what if it doesn't work. But the law is perfect. What you assume with fulfilling and continue to hold even in silence must show itself, not because the world is catching up, but because you are. These 3 days are not about time passing. They are about the dying of disbelief and the rising of inner knowing. Think of this not as a countdown, but as a process of integration. On day 1, you declare it, it is done. You feel it as real. You don't need to see results. You only need to accept. Day 2 is when the testing comes. Doubts whisper, circumstances appear unchanged, but you remain unmoved. This is the burial of the old self, the you that thought it wasn't possible. Then, without effort, without strain, day 3 arrives. You begin to feel different, lighter, certain. The outer begins to reflect the inner. This is the true meaning of gestation, not a waiting game, but a deepening of conviction. The inner child of your imagination grows in those 3 days. You are not chasing the outcome, you are becoming one with it. You are no longer the one who hopes, you are the one who knows, and the world must mirror that knowing. So speak your word once boldly with faith, then let it go, let it unfold. Let the process of spiritual gestation take its course. You do not need to interfere, you do not need to beg, you only need to stand still and know it is done. The shift has happened, the result is guaranteed. You are simply aligning with the version of you who already lives in the fulfillment, and that alignment more often than not takes just 3 days. There is a vast Difference between wanting and accepting. Wanting is a state of reaching. It is a silent confession that you do not yet have. It declares separation, the power of stillness after speaking between you and the thing you desire. And the more you want, the more you affirm the gap. You say with your words, I desire it. But with your feeling, you say, it is not yet mine. This is the contradiction that delays manifestation, not because life withholds anything, but because you are not standing where the thing already exists in possession, not pursuit. Creation responds not to begging, but to knowing. You do not receive what you want, you receive what you accept. When you drop the hunger and step into the feeling that it is already yours, the world must rearrange itself to reflect your assumption. This is not effort, it is surrender to truth. It is the quiet, unwavering inner stance of ownership. People often think the desire must be intensified. They think if they want it hard enough it will come, but that is not how creation works. The stronger your desire without acceptance, the more you energize, like you fuel the state of not having, and reality mirrors that state faithfully. You find yourself circling the same mountain, repeating affirmations, visualizing, but never receiving. Why? Because you're still trying to get it. To try is to say, I don't have it yet. To try is to position yourself outside the blessing, but creation does not respond to striving, it responds to alignment. You must stop reaching and start embodying, stop asking and start living as though it is already done. Speak as the one who already has. Walk as the one who no longer needs to pray for it. Let your thoughts and actions reflect the truth that it is already yours, because its acceptance is quiet, it is calm. It doesn't need to prove or defend. It doesn't even need to explain. It simply says, yes, I receive. And in that receiving, the door opens. You shift into a frequency where the thing you once chased is now simply part of your being. You don't attract it, you reveal it. This is the mystery of faith. Faith does not chase, it abides, it acts from the end. When you accept that your desire is already yours, you no longer watch the clock, you no longer measure progress. You walk into the room differently, you speak to others differently, you live from a center of fullness. There is no power in how to know it's already done, desperation, but there is immense power in assumption. Assume you already have it, accept that it is done, and then drop the matter, move on, enjoy the day. That inner state will draw what you've accepted into form, not because you struggle for it, but because you believed you already had it. Stop trying, stop chasing, stop affirming lack with your constant seeking. Instead, enter the silence and say quietly to yourself, it is mine. And believe that whisper more than the noise of the world. In that moment of true acceptance, you shift realities. You leave behind the old self and step fully into the life you've already claimed, and the world will not be able to do anything but comply. Speak once, not twice, not 10 times. Speak once with authority, with conviction, with the calm certainty of one who knows the truth and does not entertain a second thought. You do not need to plead with life, for life is not deaf. You do not need to beg the universe, for the universe is already responding. You only need to speak your word as one who knows they are heard. The one who begs does not believe. The one who pleads secretly affirms this may not happen. And so it doesn't, not because the power has failed, but because the speaker has not claimed their power. You are not a beggar. You are not at the mercy of unseen forces. You are the creative center of your world, and your word is law. This is not arrogance, this is alignment. You are not asking for what you want, you are declaring it. As a king issues a decree, as a builder lays the cornerstone, you say it once, and let the energy go out, and do what it was commanded to do. Your job is not to make it happen, but to remain unmoved after unlocking the reality that's been waiting for you. Speaking doubt is the only thing that rewrites your order. Stay in faith, and the result is inevitable. When you speak with authority, you shift something within you. Your vibration changes. You leave behind the version of yourself who wanted, who questioned, who hoped, and you step into the version who already has. You speak as that person, you walk as that person, and that inner transformation makes outer transformation inevitable. Your word is seed, but not every seed bears fruit, only the one planted in good soil, with confidence, with expectation. If you speak it with fear, if you whisper it with uncertainty, if you check for results 5 minutes later, and then say it again out of anxiety, you have dug it up before it had time to take root. That is not authority, that is doubt masquerading as faith. Authority means stillness. You speak at once, and rest. You don't panic. When you don't see it, you don't question. If you said it right, you don't run around trying to make it happen with effort. You trust the invisible power to do what you have commanded it to do. Your word, backed by inner knowing, is irresistible. It must return to you fulfilled, so don't speak like a victim. Don't speak like one asking for permission. Speak like the one who knows the truth and merely announces it. Say it clearly. Say it once: I am now in possession of, or it is done, and let the fullness of that assumption rise up inside you. They hold your peace. Don't explain. Don't final word. Stop trying. It's already yours. Justify. Don't tell others what you're doing. Just let your inner world stay loyal to the new decree. Creation is not about repetition. It's about finality. Speak with finality. Speak as if it were already accomplished. Because it is. The universe does not hear your many words, it hears your certainty. So say it once as one who commands, and then live as one who no longer needs to ask. The manifestation will not delay, for it now has no opposition, only your unwavering word and your silent faith. Now you understand it is not effort, not repetition, not begging that brings your desire to life. It is assumption. It is the quiet authority within you that declares it is done and refuses to flinch. You do not wait for the world to confirm it. You confirm it within yourself, and the world must follow. Speak once with conviction. Accept. Do not want. Let the 3 days refine your inner stance. And when the seed is spoken, rest. Let it unfold. Creation is not outside you. It is through you. As you, the word is seed. Your assumption is the soil, and your unwavering faith is the light. Trust it. Move as one who already has stopped trying. It's already yours. Thank you.